Who has the upper hand in housing these days, buyers or sellers? After Labor Day, as the weather cools, the housing market usually does too. Will home prices drop? Will mortgage rates continue to rise? What should we expect? If you're a buyer, I'm including a bonus tip about the holidays you really don't want to miss. Over the last couple of years, home buyers have been pushed to their emotional and financial limits. Sellers, not so much. They've been collecting massive paydays while doing little more than sticking a for sale sign in their yard. Selling for over ask, no inspections, no contingencies, no problem. But over the last few months, the shift has been dramatic and painful for both buyers and sellers. The feds have jacked up interest rates to dampen inflation. Mortgage interest has skyrocketed. The buyer pool has dried up, leaving homes on the market longer. As inventory grows, this is forcing sellers back to the negotiating table. As we move into the holiday season, both buyers and sellers will jostle for position in an unsteady market. In a nutshell, that's the problem. There's no certainty. We're in an adjustment period with no clear endpoint. Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale agrees. She says the economy is at a turning point. This will cause uncertainty in both buyers and sellers. Add to that, people are spending a lot more money to maintain last year's lifestyle because of inflation and more worried about recession than they have been for a very long time. In short, there's less money for housing, more concern for the future. The bright spot for buyers is this fall, they'll have more options in homes and less competition from other buyers. As houses sit in the market longer, buyers will have time to tour the home and submit an offer without having to make an important decision under tremendous pressure. They can have a home inspection and anything else they want looked at to help them feel more comfortable. The biggest change is they may not even have to offer full price to get under contract. However, home prices and mortgage rates will continue to rise regardless of the cooling market. The bottom line, buyers will have more options in houses and will be able to negotiate more. The fate of the housing market this fall will depend on mortgage rates. They're now the highest they've been since 2008 and more than twice what they were a year ago. Recently, the rate was well over 6%. I saw 6.43 for a 30-year loan. For comparison, this time last year, the rate was 2.86. On September 21st, Jerome Powell announced a Fed rate hike of 0.75 of a point. This was expected. He's doing this to fight inflation, and though not directly tied to mortgage rates, they generally follow the same track. Today's buyers are paying about 2/3 more each month for the same house than they would have a year ago, thanks to higher rates, higher prices. Lynn Kiefer of Freddie Mac says rates are not likely to fall in the near term and could even increase. I think an increase is inevitable, but I'm just another person with an opinion. With rates as high as they are and rising, buyers need to know that lenders do compete for business, so shopping around for a loan could save you some serious money. Don't be afraid to tell a lender you'll get back to them if they come out on top. Keep in mind, you can change lenders even after you're under contract. The bottom line, it looks like rates will continue to climb. If you're sitting on the sideline waiting for the housing bubble to pop and prices to tank, another 2008 just doesn't seem likely, and I'm going to go as far as to say that's not going to happen. Although there's a couple of areas that are reporting actual home price declines. Those are mostly places where the market is super hot and grew super fast. Even those places, the market will show deceleration versus decline. Prices will grow, but much more slowly. Danielle Hale of Realtor.com does concede that home prices could actually fall, but the housing supply is still short and demand remains high. For prices to fall significantly, supply has to outweigh demand. Some will say the buyer side could be crushed so thoroughly that supply could then be plentiful. But even with today's rates and prices, mortgage applications went up 3.8% for the week ending September 16. That's the first rise in 6 weeks despite tough times. Reasonable demand continues. One other thing, mortgage applications were down 28% year over year, week ending September 9. The mortgage application numbers is just one reason why there's so much confusion. One metric rises, another one falls. It's hard to find solid logical ground. Realtors across the country are suggesting that home prices will flatten with a possible dip in 2023. Some say the difference between crash and correction is a correction is up to 10% below the current market numbers. The market in general seems to be headed that way. The exception is the bubbliest markets, think Austin and Denver, where 20% is possible. But you show me a buyer that sees an interest rate drop of 0.5 to 1% and a home's listing price drop 5 to 10%, with rents going through the roof, I'll show you a renter turned homeowner in no time. In my opinion, there is such pent-up demand for housing being held back by prices and rates. As soon as either become comparatively reasonable, buyers will jump back in with both feet. Sellers have begun reducing prices in earnest, and builders are now offering closing costs. The dirty little secret about builders? New building permits have tanked big time. This is a sign for fewer new homes in the future. In August, 20% of the sellers cut prices, up from 11% a year ago. Multiple offers are much less common now, but they are still around. An updated move-in ready home in a highly desired school district will absolutely pull multiple offers, just like it should. If a home is the best of the best, a lot of people are going to want it. But if a home needs work or updating or is priced too high for the area, it'll sit. And the evidence of this is all across the country. The bottom line, don't expect prices to fall, but do expect them to flatten out. While buyers have more options today than they've had in a long time, one thing I can tell you from a decade and a half of being in the real estate business, there will be fewer and fewer homes coming on the market as we get closer to the holidays. Not only are homeowners unsure how much profit to expect from a home sale, but for those that need to combine net proceeds with a loan to get the next house, the current sky-high rates are killing motivation. Layer on top of that, who wants to get caught up in the middle of a move during Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially in the cold weather areas? About the end of October is when we start hearing, we're going to hold off till next year. We just want to get through the holidays. Here's your bonus tip that almost never fails. Any home listed for sale in the middle of the holiday season has a very highly motivated seller. They'll act like they're not, but they are. There's only one reason you can tour a home during the holidays. They have to sell that house. This is prime turf for a scorching deal. Real estate is a funny business when you're getting ready to turn the corner into a new year. Sellers say they want to wait and see if prices jump in the spring, and buyers say they want to wait and see if prices take a dive. It's exactly that optimism on either side that sidelines people and keeps the holidays quiet. Then there's that whole recession thing. If you like this video, share it with friends and help me spread the word. Consider subscribing so you'll know when the next videos drop. As always, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you and your time. Talk to you soon.